Welcome, everyone. We are live. Welcome to the Mask Up 2020 Winning Designs announcement. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Genevieve, and I am part of the Grassroots Exchange and Education team at the Japan Foundation Center for Global Partnership, New York. We are very grateful for your support of our US-Japan Face Mask Design Contest. Whether you helped us spread the word of the contest or created a mask design yourself, we're appreciative of your efforts to support the US-Japan partnership. CGP was established in 1991 and is dedicated to strengthening the global US-Japan partnership by promoting collaboration between the two countries. To carry out its mission, CGP supports an array of institutions and individuals through grant programs and fellowships. Joining us today are our judges. We have Rama Shorpash from Parsons School of Design, Julie Pastor from Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Museum of Design, Jean Shine from Uniqlo USA, the Consulate General of Japan in New York, Ambassador Kanji Yamanouchi, Director General of Japan Foundation Los Angeles, Yasuko Uchida, Director General of Japan Foundation New York, Masaya Shimoyama. And our guest speaker, Dr. Jordan Sand from Georgetown University. He is an Abe Fellow and a Japan Foundation Fellow. Thank you all for being here. While we are sad that we are not able to meet in person, Japan Foundation New York staff have enjoyed interacting with everyone virtually through these YouTube live events. Since one silver lining of virtual events is the ability to gather across many time zones, please introduce yourself in the chat and let us know where you're watching from. We received hundreds of mask designs from kids to adults from Washington, D.C., Guam, and 29 states. So let's see if there are representatives from these states tonight. This is a reminder to keep the YouTube live chat friendly and respectful. Hateful messages will not be tolerated. In the spirit of CGP's mission to promote understanding between the US and Japan, we will begin with a short talk from Dr. San about the history of masks in Japan. We know some kids are joining us tonight, and so we want to know what you think about wearing a mask. Please chime in the chat. And if you have any questions, please write those too for the live Q&A after the talk. So without further ado, I will get the presentation started.
Hello, my name is Jordan Sand. I teach Japanese history at Georgetown University, and I'm going to talk to you briefly today about why Japanese people wear surgical masks. First, I'd like to thank the Japan Foundation Center for Global Partnership for inviting me to speak, and I'm looking forward to learning the winners of the Mask Up 2020 competition. So I think you know that Japanese people commonly wear masks. Here's a photograph from the New York Times from just a few months ago. And you can see everybody in the crowd. It is a crowded country and everybody's wearing masks. And I suppose it's natural to think, well, people in Japan follow the rules. And so, of course, when the pandemic came, everybody wore surgical masks as they were asked to do. That's not the whole story. You may have heard that in the spring of last year, then Prime Minister Abe announced that the government would send 2 cloth reusable masks to each household, and everyone was to wear them. And the result actually was not all that favorable for Prime Minister Abe. There was a great deal of criticism of him and ridicule even of this policy. They were referred to as Abe no Masku, and people had a variety of complaints. They, among other things, thought it was a waste of money. But in short, the Japanese public does not always do just as the government wishes. Nevertheless, people were actually wearing them already at the time of this mask campaign. They were widespread in Japan. And so we need to look further back to understand why it is that Japanese people wear masks. Preliminarily, this is not specific to Japan, but people around the world have long understood that diseases could be carried in the air. They were invisible, but people understood the idea of contagion. And we see this in a Japanese text here from the early 1800s, a natural scientist named Shiba Kokan writing, "The air you exhale is the air that I inhale. Air, it's invisible, but it's a substance. It's made up of molecules." And scientists in Japan and elsewhere understood this, and the mass of people also understood that disease could travel from inside your body to inside my body through the air, even though we can't see it. There could be a variety of reasons to wear masks beside fear of contagious disease. And so the earliest masks produced in Japan expressly for protecting your mouth and nose were in fact produced for another reason, which is to keep soot and pollution entering the body in very dirty places like mines and factories. One of the first cases in the world in which the surgical mask was adopted widely for public health reasons was this case of the terrible pneumonic plague epidemic that spread in Manchuria in northern China in 1911. And this was a time when Japan, China, and Russia were in competition with one another to gain control of this region. And part of the competition was to show that you were in control of the disease. And it was, in fact, a Chinese doctor who promoted the use of surgical masks, as you can see, among medical professionals, but it was widely adopted in Manchuria at this time. The wearing of surgical masks for members of the public in Japan seems to have begun primarily during the flu pandemic of 1919, 1920. Here we see a poster produced by the government at the time telling people to wear masks. And through this poster campaign, the government is actually informing people about modern medical science. They're teaching people the word germ or bacteria, for example, and people are realizing, oh, well, the enlightened, civilized thing to do is to wear a mask. And so at this time, there's strong buy-in from the public in Japan, it seems, with an acceptance that this was part of being modern citizens. And that acceptance would continue even when the government starts to say, well, now we have vaccines, you don't need to wear masks. People found other reasons to wear masks, and people continued to believe that wearing a mask was a safe and sensible thing to do. It was the civilized thing to do. And so after World War II in the 1960s, the problem of allergies and hay fever emerge for the first time, and masks become a favored response to the spring hay fever season. As we see here, as it is this year, every year, there's a big rush to sell masks, and people run to buy masks as the hay fever season kicks in. And then at some point around 2000 or so, it seems, masks start to take on a certain personality in the convenience stores, particularly masks expressly supposed to be appealing to women. They're very plain. We're not talking about flowery designs or some of the clever sorts of designs that people have proposed for this competition, but a little bit of pink and perhaps styling suited to women's faces is being promoted so that a mask is a popular accessory to pick up for a woman in particular. And what emerges from this is something that gets known in the magazines as the date masku, or fashion mask, which is putting on a mask as a fashion statement of a sort because you think you look better in it, or because you want to hide part of your face for personal reasons. Perhaps you didn't want to put up makeup on half of your face that day, or perhaps you're not so happy with your chin. And in fact, a survey of just a couple of years ago found that 53% of young Japanese women reported that they had worn a face mask for reasons other than health, meaning probably personal or fashion reasons. This is a little different from the recent development of all kinds of colorful styles, because most of them are rather plain, as you see in this picture. But it's a personal statement. I want to be covered up a little bit. Finally, there's a sort of a broad sociological issue around why Japanese people wear masks if it is not simply because they're following the orders of the government right now. And this relates to a distinction that sociologists make between two ideas of society in Japan. Here are two Japanese words for society. The first, shakai, means society in the abstract, all of the people in society, including the people you don't know. But the other, and this is an older Japanese word, seken, means the people you know and you're connected to, and the people you might become connected to. You could call it the neighbors and in a sort of a broader sense. And so if you've lived in Japan, you probably know that people are very conscious of what their schoolmates think, what the people in the office think, or what the neighbors next door to them think. And that consciousness is a consciousness of the smaller society, seken. This is clearly very influential in the way people feel about mask wearing. They may not obey the government all of the time. They may not be thinking in abstract terms about the benefit of society, but they're thinking about what the neighbors are doing or what their classmates are doing. And that's a very strong sense of social obligation in Japan, which is tied, I think, to the preference to wear masks today. And we haven't seen any sort of anti-mask movement or claims that people's freedom is being impinged upon. Whatever your reason, there could be many reasons to wear a mask, mask up. Thank you.
Dr. Sand, thank you very much for your presentation. There really are a lot of reasons to wear masks, health and fashion and otherwise, but thank you. So we have time for about 3 questions from the audience, and we have some ahead of time. So we were wondering, do you have any sense of how people in Japan might view some of the strong or vocal anti-masking sentiment in other countries? Since it's not really a controversial issue in Japan, it might be hard to understand why it would be controversial. I see. Yeah. And hold on one moment. What's going on?
Can't hear Jordan saying. Everybody's writing that.
I'm sorry, Dr. Sen. It seems like people can't hear you, and I'm not really sure why. So I'm going to do some troubleshooting. Thank you.
Lisa says he's muted. The volume doesn't go to the YouTube one, but I can hear you on Zoom. But now I can hear you. I think the YouTube is back to the volume. Because I saw you talking and it's gone. So
But you can't hear him?
no, you're from him now.
Okay. Could we do a test, Dr. Sand? Could you say some words? Okay, we have to wait about 20 seconds to see. There's about a 20-second delay to the YouTube broadcast, so let's see. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and for letting us know that you can't hear him. We're doing our best to find out what the trouble is. You could hear him on the test?
We can hear you, but not Dr. San.
Yeah, so we can hear you, but not his phone.
Yeah.
Oh. I can hear him playing the video though. But you can't hear him speaking? Is it because, is he faint or you just can't hear him at all? But you could hear his computer audio, right?
Nothing.
I don't know how to troubleshoot this.
So, he can speak on behalf of Dr. San. What you hear?
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, I can't remember though. Should we cut the Q&A? No? Okay. Okay, so I am going to repeat what Dr. San has said. I'm sorry, this is a very unfortunate workaround. Dr. San, we could hear when you were playing the YouTube clip, but we can't hear you speaking. And I'm sorry that I can't figure out why. So I'll repeat your answer to the first question. So, and you can correct me if I mistake what you said. But it seems like people in Japan closely follow the news in the United States and are share some concerns about anonymity that mask wearing can bring, and maybe some sort of criminal activity related to the anonymity of wearing a mask. But that there is a sense of that's weird that Americans don't want to wear masks, and maybe an inability to understand why. Is that okay?
It's like a rather natural and easy thing to do, and so they don't really understand quite why. They were looking for the cultural explanations, which I think is the right thing for them to do.
Right, looking for the cultural explanations of why this would be the case. Thank you for bearing with my humble recitations.
No problem, but there's no other workaround, is there? Yeah.
I'm not able to find, oh, we can hear him now? Oh, okay, we might be able to.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Hi.
Crisis
Well, hello,
averted.
yeah. Very good.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for your patience. Okay, so we've got another question for you. You had mentioned during the 1918-1919 flu epidemic that was one of the first documented cases of medical mask wearing.
Yeah.
And there's some history of mask wearing in the US at that same time period.
Right.
Do you have any theories or ideas as to why mask wearing seems to have carried through from that time to the present in Japan, but not in the US?
Yeah, very interesting question. So I think quite a lot of people have heard about the 1919-1920 global flu pandemic, which was a terrible, terrible pandemic, and much worse than we have now. And all over the world, in the United States as well as Japan, everywhere else, people were encouraged to wear masks. There was really little other hope, and there was at least an understanding that it's airborne, so wearing masks would be a good idea. And I think a lot of Americans adopted them for a time then too. There was protest in this country even then. Surprise, surprise. I think that Japanese kept wearing them after that, kind of on and off. But they adopted it pretty enthusiastically from that time because it seemed like a simple way to believe the science, as we say, and to sort of it seemed like Japan was very eager to participate in world trends, and it seemed like this was what the smart and civilized people do. And then there would be other reasons later on, another flu would come, or pollution would be the issue, and people would remember, oh well, this is this simple thing I can do, it protects me a little bit, and the doctors recommend it.
That sounds like it adds up.
I hope
you.
so.
So we have one last question for you, and that is regarding the marketing of masks for women. You
Right.
noted that the packaging seems to be marketed toward women, although the mask itself is quite plain. And do you know which came first, the demand for masks by women or the advertising of masks directed at women, or is it sort of chicken and egg?
Thank you. I love this question
Oh.
because it's actually, I think it's a kind of, not a rare case, but a case that deserves note. I was just talking about various reasons people might have to protect themselves with a mask. And it would be a flu or another disease. It would be pollution, or it would be hay fever, as I mentioned in one slide there, which really kind of emerges as a big new problem in the 1960s. And so those were all in various ways health related, right, choices. So now young women from maybe the 1990s or 2000s in large numbers wear them when they're not sick and perhaps not even particularly worried about being sick. And so there's this term for it, which is a term sort of like fashion mask. But as you can see, they're not particularly flowery. They don't look feminine. They're plain masks. So I think this is one of those cases where actually the consumers created the trend and no marketing genius foisted it upon them. Young women wanted to cover up a bit. And there was an easy means to do it that was already so widespread that there'd be nothing peculiar about adopting it. And then maybe some marketing follows, but you've seen it's not particularly with flowery masks and so forth, because the whole point is not to draw attention to yourself, just to cover up a bit. And so there has been perhaps the response in packaging a little bit, right? Pink packages, sort of slightly more chic looking, individually packed masks, but that's it. And I think it really came from the desire of a lot of women to use this for a purpose for which it was not intended originally, but suits their purpose well.
I think, it's hard for me to imagine that wearing a mask would allow you to blend in with the crowd versus not stand out. At least maybe now, I think earlier we were sort of feeling exposed not wearing a mask, but it is kind of a security feeling, like, okay, I'm keeping
it can make you feel kind of secure. It certainly makes you feel secure when you're worried about germs in the air or a virus. But people's sensitivities change in these situations, and I think seeing lots of other young women do it made it feel like, oh, maybe this is a nice idea for me too. I don't think I think it's just very natural that people adopt things and they become part of yourself. I think this is happening for a lot of us with masks, even though we're happy to take them off when we get home, and we'll not miss them particularly when we don't actually have to wear them. But it does become natural.
Yeah, it does. Well, thank you so much, Dr. San. We really appreciate you sharing your vast knowledge with us. And thank you, everyone, for standing by during some of our technical things and chiming in on the chat and keeping it lively.
I'm so glad it worked out, and thanks for those great questions.
Yeah, of course. Judges, you are welcome to turn your video back on. think that's everyone. So now the moment you've been waiting for, the winning designs announcement. I'm going to share my screen so that we can present the designs, and I'm going to switch to speaker view so you can see who's announcing. Okay. Oh, it's not really showing up, is it? Got it. Okay. Should look good now. Okay. Julie, you are up first. Could you tell us which design you selected and why?
Yes, so the design I selected is 91 Across the Ocean. There were so many wonderful submissions, but this one really struck me with its bold use of primary colors. I feel like it really uses the space well and grabs your eye. There's a lot of movement. And drawn to it just visually, I love that it combines the national flowers of the US and Japan in this really creative way. And the patterns in the background, I like that they mix sort of a traditional Japanese graphic pattern along with something that recalls the stripes of the American flag. So I think it's a very playful way to use the symbolism and something that just looks very attractive and exciting.
Great, thank you so much. Congratulations to the creator of Across the Ocean. Next, we have Ambassador Yamanouchi. Could you tell us about the design you selected?
Yes, I selected number 121, titled Take Care of Each Other. I like particularly two things. One, the title, Taking Care of Each Other, sounds very helping each other and inspiring, and I like the title. And also all the design, inspired by like Kiss Helen Light. And I like colors and the little stories everywhere. So I think really this is a good friendship between Japan and the United States in the days of coronaviruses. So I just like it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Yamanouchi, and congratulations to the creator of Take Care of Each Other. Rama, could you let us know which design you selected and why?
Yes, I selected design number 122, the red thread that connects us. And I love that the impetus for the design comes from a fairy tale. And it's the heart knot in the middle, which is not part of the fairy tale, is being pulled tight. And it's an illustration of the intertwining of American and Japanese hands and the shared work that they're doing. It's a dance between the two countries with index finger to index finger. And it's like a bloodline where it's connecting the hands with the red flowing between the flags. I also like that it sweetly makes us smile because we can't see that behind the mask.
Thank you, Rama. I had not seen that smile before, and I see it now, and it has brought a smile to my face. So congratulations to the creator of the red thread that connects us. Jean, could you let us know which design you selected?
Yes, my pleasure. It wasn't easy to choose, but the design I selected is Gentle Breeze, also known as design number 123. The reason why I like this design so much is its simplicity and the skillful use of the odd shape of the canvas, the mask. I especially like the effortless inclusion of Mount Fuji's iconic peak and the way that Lady Liberty is delicately bending to scatter the cherry blossoms with her gentle yet powerful breath. What is amazing is how fast that this all registers to the viewer thanks to the power inherent in these symbols, and in the process delivering on the theme of the contest with speed, finesse, and beauty. Gentle Breeze, you blew me away. Thank you. Congratulations.
Well said, Jean. That was so poetic. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the winner or the creator of Gentle Breeze. Uchida-san, could you tell us which design you selected?
Yes, my pleasure. I and Japan Foundation Los Angeles selected number 12, What We Share. This design is very simple and minimalistic, especially in color, just dark red and white. However, a lot of icons which steer our imagination are incorporated in the pattern all around the mask. We would say it is beautiful, defined, as well as practical. We are sure that anyone would feel no hesitation to wear this mask. It is a mask for everyone beyond ages and genders. The most impressive thing is that when we first look at the design, we couldn't stop picking out each item. It was a really fun process. We could recognize flags, birds, cars, ships, technological commodities such as laptop, computer, and smartphone, and foods such as sushi and burgers. We think they indicate not only symbol of the US and Japan relationship, but also the international cooperation with which contemporary commodities are produced and distributed these days. So we could also find red crosses and masks that show the current turmoil we are suffering from, and of course the mask is our main theme. So we understand that all these things eventually represent the world peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uchida-san. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of these inspiring thoughts just from this beautiful mask. So congratulations to the creator of What We Share. And lastly, Shimoyama-san, could you tell us which design you selected?
Yes, sure. I selected 1, 2, 4, Friendship Through Music. So look at them. They are playing saxophone, and then another one is playing shakuhachi, Japanese traditional bamboo flute. So they are playing very joyfully. I love their faces. Yeah. And I was surprised to read the description of the concept. I quote, "The saxophone is important to me because my father is a saxophonist and he plays concert in Japan with our Japanese friends who plays shakuhachi. So this design doesn't come from just an imagination, but it's based on the real story. It's amazing. I love to listen to their music sometimes soon. Thank you. Congratulations."
Thank you, Shimoyama-san. It is indeed a very beautiful story to go along with the picture. So congratulations to the creator of Friendship Through Music. So, and thank you, judges, for your thoughts and consideration of these designs. I am not envious. It must have been very difficult to choose. So next, we have the top 3 designs as selected by the participants. So these are the designs you chose. They're so beautiful. Thank you for casting your votes. And they're in no particular order. But congratulations to the creator of Kizuna, Itadakimasu, and Fox Hoshi Mask. And we have some very special news for you, and that is that we have created some samples of the mask, and we're going to show you. So up first is the Kizuna mask. It's very striking on actually printed. It looks really great. And next we have Itadakimasu, which also printed out really graphically. It's very, it looks really cool. You can imagine somebody wearing it. And next we have the Fox Hoshi mask, which is also really cool, and definitely whoever wears this will be super cool. Next we have a sample of Across the Ocean, which, as Julie said, it remains so striking in the produced mask. And then we have Take Care of Each Other, which is Yamanouchi-san. The colors look really great on the white background and printed, and you can see the iconography. It's really pretty. And then we have The Red Thread That Connects Us. And just right on the mouth, you'll see that smile that Rama pointed out earlier. I think that will be Really cool to wear. And then we have Gentle Breeze that Jean selected. It looks really cool, I think, on the blue mask. And then we have What We Share. So a sample with the really fun icons, really playful and fun to look at on the printed mask. And last but not least, Friendship Through Music, which is super kawaii on the blue mask. So congratulations again to all the winners. I'm going to stop the share screen and switch to gallery view and hope that that looks good. Yep. Okay. So as you know, all 9 winners will receive 25 of these printed masks, as well as gift cards to Kinokuniya and Blick Art Materials. So congratulations. And the Mask Up 2020 team will be in touch with you to let you know. So stay tuned. We're also going to be donating masks to various US-Japan related nonprofits across the US. So there will be lots of stylish people walking around with these really great US-Japan related masks. So thank you again, everyone, for participating in our face mask design contest. We enjoyed the bright, positive messages and thoughtfulness that went into creating each and every design. And we hope that you were just as inspired as we were to scroll through the design gallery. It was really a magnificent sight to see all the designs in one place. So thank you for sharing your contributions to the contest. And so until we can see you when it's safe, please do stay safe and well. And happy Hina Matsuri on Wednesday. And we hope that you have a good night. Bye.